back at the marina.
Our baby routine.
Yes.
It's not quite as easy working on the boat anymore, is it?
Watch yourself. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because you've got to manage trying to film, get work done, and entertain this little angel. But this year...
Are you entertained?
This year we have full service. Look at this.
Oh, wow.
Hey, removing shoes isn't so bad. But tying them with one hand? Impossible.
Where's your third hand?
Yeah, I know, right?
Coral, you're supposed to hold on to her shoelace.
Okay, let's get in.
We'll get the ladder hooked up today, so
that'll be nice.
they don't have such a hard time. So for those of you that remember, last year we ended up sealing our rudder again, and there was still some water in it. We just wanted to get launched, so I ended up slapping a screw in the hole that there was still water coming out, and then we sealed it up just for the season. But before we left last year for hurricane season, we drilled 2 holes in the bottom of the rudder to make sure we drained out all the water during the nice warm summer season. And now I'm going to fill it with resin and hardener, as well as some chopped strand fiberglass, and just fill it up, and hopefully it'll be sealed for good because we sealed the top of the rudder really well last time. So let's get it done.
What's the trick?
Try to get it into the hole all the way up without having too many air pockets.
We are out for a little walk, me and Miss Coral, because, well, she likes to walk, and actually so do I. Hey Coral, going for a little walk. Another day at the boat, another walk. Coral is asleep. So I'm gonna put her in the V-berth and I'm gonna do some more cleaning. It's quite messy in here. I'm trying to clean, wipe down everything. Coral has been asleep in the V-berth for quite a while, which is wonderful. And yeah, mess. Do not leave open doors in a boat. It's disgusting. Okay, here's the light. More paper towel. What happened, sweetie?
Oh, disgusting. I disconnected the hose for the the tank overflow, or the poop tank. The one that goes out through this through hole that was our last gate valve that is now jammed. So anyway, I removed the hose and I tried to tuck it out of the way back there, and it poured liquid poop in the very back of our boat, so we're gonna have to clean that up. So there's 2 tabs in most of these larger through holes, and the idea is to use them to stop the through hole from spinning when I go to turn the ball valve on the end, or the valve on the other side. That's the idea. It looks like I've already spun it just a tiny bit, so we're gonna try not to spin it so we don't have to reseat it, but worst case we have to reseat it, and that's not the end of the world. So Alex is gonna hold this end. I'm gonna heat it up with a torch on the inside, and we'll see how it goes. Just heating up the pipe. Hopefully it'll make it easier to remove.
I'm ready.
All right, we got her.
Woo! Success.
The heat did the trick.
So that's probably the original Seacock from 1981. That was for our waste tank, and it's pretty bad. It's just, it was seized on.
All right, we got the little barb end off the old valve. New valve. Cleaned it up a little. Checked that the metal is still good. It's not pink. Scratched the surface and it still looks good. So I'm gonna slap this guy on here. Ready to go. Well, we were wondering why our tanks sometimes imploded and exploded. Look at all of this crud in there. And I'm pretty sure we had passed a line or a wire through this hose. And from the outside, it actually doesn't look that bad, but I guess there's just, I think it was all clogged right at the end here. Yep. So there's all sorts of stuff. And so this should be good to get rid of. Oh wow, it's in there good.
Something to poke with.
Yeah.
Another little thing that we're gonna replace, that's the vent for the waste tank. And it's pretty bad looking, and we've got another nice one. Cheers to finally meeting you in person.
Oh, yes, there we go.
Cheers, guys.
Beyond awesome. And to you too.
Yes.
She is adorable.
So nice meeting some of our patrons in person. We've been communicating online for so long. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
Scott and Diane Schmidt.
SV Booger. Don't you know SV Booger? Everybody needs to know a booger.
Yes.
Everybody.
What are you up to over there?
Just prepping our solar setup over here. We had all of this weather stripping that we had used kind of as a buffer between the two bits of aluminum, but it doesn't really work very good. It just falls apart and gets shifted around. So I think I might try to find some like rubberized tape or something. I've used electrical tape, but it's not quite thick enough. I have a little bit of rubberized tape, but we'll see if we can find a product that'll work better just as a little buffer, giving the solar a little more of a something less slippery to sit on so they don't shift around when we're bobbing between waves. I'll be honest, I kind of thought that maybe this year we were going to be a little more efficient because I was going to have my partner back for work, and Coral we weren't going to have to worry about Coral getting sick from paint or anything like that because we could just move her out of the area and Alex could help me with things. But it seems like now that she's here, it's actually the opposite. It's going to take a little bit more time because one of us has got to entertain Miss Coral because she doesn't like to be left alone for too long, right? And in the meantime, one of us gets to work. So right now Alex is cleaning the front of the boat underneath our cushion, and we're just taking turns doing stuff while we take care of Coral because she's having fun, but not when she lies down. Coral sleeps or wakes up as soon as I say she sleeps while we work. But the boat's a pretty big mess. It's in the holes in our fridge.
That modification of the fridge that we did was the best $50 ever invested. Our fridge has been great, keeping things cold, working good.
And anytime we have a little damage section, we just repair it with this duct tape. Works great. Not duct tape, duct.
No, it's like tin foil tape.
Well, I think it's meant for ducting, so I think it's called duct tape. But anyway, it's the tin foil tape, like she says. And while she's doing that, I'm working on a project that you would think isn't that necessary, but we're really annoyed with having all our fishing gear back there and our spear poles just kind of lashed to this handrail. So I've got a little PVC setup here that I'm going to set up the spear poles on and secure them to the roof. Ladder is ready to go in. Took a little longer because I finished it, and then when I put it all together, I kind of damaged my nicely new finish. So I had to play around with it a little bit. But, oh man, that looks good.
It is solid and beautiful. Are you ready to go back to Auntie Julie's place? Done for the work day? I'll take that for a yes. Let's go. We didn't spend the weekend here because it was so cold. Like it was in the 20s in Fahrenheit. So that's below freezing. So instead we ended up spending the weekend with my sisters and husbands, did a bit of shopping. Here you go, Coral. Life jacket for you. Woohoo! Family suppers.
You like your new chair? Got dinosaurs and everything.
Well, cheers to family. Cheers.
To happy times.
And kept this little one warm because at the boat, I mean, some people came here and they said you couldn't do anything. It was just too cold, too miserable. But now it's actually quite nice. It's like almost 60 Fahrenheit. And Corey is at the boat doing some sanding. And Coral is quite awake, so we decided to go for a little walk. And so Green Cove Springs marina is pretty big, and there's a lot of different dry storage zones. I think I found the one of the abandoned boats because that one right behind me, it must have been sitting in the water forever because there's barnacles all over the place. There's boats with trees growing in them. So it's kind of cool walking around and checking out all the different boats.
Just trying to push the button. You gotta touch it right here, Coral. Baby shark, baby shark, baby shark. There you go. Right there, sweetie. Coral's having playtime while Mommy's getting the boat ready for paint.
Corey is doing the bottom paint and Coral finally decided to sleep. I'm trying to go through all the leftovers of our cans because we're gonna have to do some provisioning for 5 or 6 months of cruising. So just checking everything that was left from the previous year, and then I think tomorrow I'm gonna start making the list of what we need to buy, and then we're gonna stock up the boat. Well, first off, gotta clean this mess.
We're testing out our new fridge, make sure it works. The most important thing, of course, some beers.
Good job on that first coat of paint.
Yeah, excited. I'm gonna throw on at least one more, and depending on how far that paint goes, we ended up with 2 cans of paint. So anyway, we'll end up with 2 to 3 coats at least.
We are at Blue Springs State Park. Apparently there is 580 manatees today.